We are going to be adding some text to this image, and we're going to activate the horizontal type tool, and we're going to take a look at the options. We are going to change the font. I'm going to pick a script type font, and if you don't have the same script font that I do, it's okay if you pick a different one. And the fonts are in alphabetical order. I'm going to pick Script MT Bold. And as I said, if you don't have that one, it's okay if you pick something different. And I'm going to increase the size to about 30. And I'm going to change my anti-alias to strong, center align my text. And I'm going to change the color. And we're going to use a pale yellow or a tan. And sometimes what I like to do is actually pull the color from the image. And I might click a couple different areas. I'm looking at that color until it's the shade that I want to use. And then I'm going to click OK. And where we're going to put this paragraph is kind of in this upper left corner. And I'm going to drag a bounding box for the paragraph. And you'll notice that even once you drag the box, that you can use the sizing handles and adjust it. And then I'm going to key in the lyrics to Here Comes the Sun. Now, if you want it to go down to the next line, all you really have to do is press Enter. And once you've got that, if you decide that you want the text to be a different color or a little bigger, just drag over it and you can make the adjustments. You can even change the font. When you are ready, when it looks good to you, you're going to press Control and Enter. And you'll notice when you do that, in the layers, it's showing your text. If you need to move the text, you can use the Move tool. And we are going to enter another phrase. And this one is going to kind of go around the sunbeam that's coming in down here. At least that's the idea. So we're going to turn on that type tool again. And this time we're going to left align. Oops, we don't want to do that quite yet. Let's click first. And now we're going to left align. And then we're going to key in sun, comma. We'll press Enter. And we'll space over about 5. We'll do another sun, comma. Press Enter. Going to space over about 10. Sun, comma, Enter. And now we're going to space over about 15. And then if you want to position this before pressing Control and Enter, all you have to do is kind of position the mouse so you get the Move tool, and then you can move it around even before you press Enter. Then to commit it, you're going to press Control and Enter. Now, once you've got your text in there, you've pressed Control and Enter, you can see it in the layers. If you decide you want to change it, you just double click on the thumbnail. That will highlight everything, and then you can go up and change your settings. When you're done making your changes, you press Control and Enter. Now, a lot of times what people do to text is they will apply layer styles to it. So we're going to go down and select our paragraph here. And then we're going to click on the FX button. And we're going to apply a couple different styles to this. We are going to do a drop shadow. And a window is going to open. And you can actually see the drop shadow because preview is turned on. And if you want to adjust the drop shadow settings, you can. You can adjust the size of the shadow, the spread. You can even adjust the color. Okay, so if you don't want it dark, if you wanted a lighter color shadow, you can change it. You can adjust the distance from the text. Also the angle. Now you can see that we have this type of angle here, and that is why if you change the distance, that is why the text is coming off that angle. But you certainly can change the angle if you want to, or if the sun is actually shining from a different direction. Kind of makes sense to change the angle. I'm just going to kind of leave mine the way it is. And I'm going to also apply Bevel and Emboss. And in order to see the settings, what a lot of people will do is they'll come down here and they'll put a check next to Bevel and Emboss, but they don't actually click on it. In order to change settings, you have to click on it so you can see the settings. Okay, and right now we have the inner bevel, but if you wanted to see what each of them looked like, I would suggest picking each style, just so you get a little feel for what that style looks like. And inner bevel was the default. You can adjust the depth, size, and you can make it look a little softer. And this kind of comes down to a bit of personal preference, what you like. Once you've adjusted the settings, you can click OK. And if you're wondering what this shading does, you'll notice that there's kind of a dark part to the bevel. Okay, and that is affected by this section down here on shading. And you can change the color. You can change the contouring. And that affects where the shading gets applied. Like I said, this really comes down to a personal preference. And once you are happy, you're going to click OK. And then we're going to select our top layer. We're going to do some style effects on that as well. And we'll start with the drop shadow. And trying to move it so it's not on top of the text here. So we start with the drop shadow, and then we're going to turn on and select inner shadow. And you'll see that that has a white color. There's a screen blend mode on it. And you can adjust the size of that. It's pretty subtle. It's going inside the letters. You can change the color, assuming you can find a color you like. But like I said, it's a very subtle change. And I do have there is a screen blend mode, so you may not notice it as much. Now I changed the blend mode and you can see the yellow more. So depending on the blend mode and the color, it's going to affect how much of this that you can see. Then we're also going to do inner shadow. Okay, and that one obviously you can see a lot. And I'm going to change the color on that. And again, there's a blend mode that you could adjust. There's opacity settings. size, settings, distance. There is one more thing we're going to do, and we're going to turn on Bevel and Emboss on this. And again, if you want to change the style, you can. You can change the size. You can make it a little softer. Totally up to you. And then you're going to click OK. And once you're done, you're going to save this.